10 manhwa just like solo leveling with OPMC. You know that feeling when you read something so insanely good it makes even solo leveling look like child's play? Well, buckle up fam, cause today we're counting down 10 manhwa that will blow your mind way harder than that leveling up. Also, subscribe for cookies. All Master Necromancer is a revenge power fantasy about Cha Jin-hyu, a former necromancer god betrayed and killed by his friends. He transfers his soul into a new body, losing all his powers. 10 years later, he awakens with all master skills, allowing him to master every job class. He teams up with new friends to climb the mysterious tower and get payback on his traitorous old guild. It's a unique, edgy power trip watching a former master get humbled, then stubbornly fight his way back through hard work with cool necromancer powers adding a dark twist. I Am the CEO is a wild isekai power fantasy about Dylan, a businessman reborn into a magical world where powers are determined by business ranks. After making a deal with the god of commerce, the corporate shark Dylan is destined to become an overpowered tycoon overlord. Imagine him navigating ruthless boardroom politics one moment and flinging magic fireballs the next. It's a unique premise blending business savvy with fantasy might. Dylan gets to channel his inner CEO tyrant without restraints, achieving capitalistic supremacy where spells depend on profits. If you want an OP power trip manhwa flipping the usual isekai script, binge watch Dylan's corporate mastermind run wild. Leveling Up My Isekai Abs is a hilariously absurd isekai rom-com power fantasy. Sang-soo, a guy obsessed with getting shredded abs, gets transported into a romance fantasy world. The twist? To return home, he must become the hottest, most ripped male love interest imaginable with S-rank abs. Imagine Suo's insane training arcs and dealing with thirsty female admirers fainting at his 8-pack's mere presence. It's an utterly preposterous premise leaning into absolute absurdity for maximum laughs. If you want a fresh, hilarious take on usual isekai power trips, this manhwa where a guy's solo mission is becoming the ultimate beefcake hunk definitely needs to be your next read. Limit Breaker is an insanely overpowered time-traveling adventure. Gi-bang Kim, an average guy, gets transported for 3,000 years of intense training, leveling him up to an absolute maximum powered beast. But due to time dilation, only 10 years passed on Earth. Now this all-powerful mad lad is loose in the modern era filled with monsters and dungeons, with one humble goal: reuniting with his lost loved ones. Imagine the mayhem as Gi-bang casually shatters every limit, soloing 100-player raids one moment and accidentally vaporizing cities while trying to find his family the next. It's an awesome dynamic seeing an incomprehensibly mighty protagonist struggling with mundane personal desires amidst apocalyptic chaos his immense power causes. The scale of Gi-bang's might combined with the relatable struggles is perfect power fantasy fuel. Leveling with the Gods is a hard-hitting time loop power trip. After suffering a crushing defeat against ominous outer gods, warrior Yoo-won Kim gets an overpowered second chance, reliving his entire adventure from the start with memories of future challenges and rewards intact. Imagine the sheer dominance as this hyper-motivated rookie with a hardened veteran's combat genius speedruns early challenges one moment, solos and game raids, leaving the allies in awe the next. It's deliciously satisfying watching this overwhelming force systematically dismantle every obstacle with cold precision while mysterious revelations about the outer gods loom. If you crave that sweet returning MC action packed with creative world building and battles, binge this ultimate OP power fantasy. Return of the Disaster Class Hero is a gloriously unhinged revenge power fantasy tale. Jian Lee, the strongest of 12 legendary heroes fighting apocalyptic monsters, gets betrayed and abandoned by his traitorous allies during a deadly mission. 20 years later, he returns as an impossibly mighty force hellbent on cold vengeance. Imagine the chaotic destruction as this unshackled behemoth bullies his former comrades, effortlessly soloing entire raids meant for 12 heroes one moment, smiting cities while hunting the ultimate betrayer the next. It's the ultimate OP badass fantasy cranked to insane levels, reveling in the strongest hero's unstoppable return after being discarded. With awesomely absurd battles and delightfully petty revenge plots, buckle up for this wildly unhinged power trip ride. Boundless Ascension is a dark, gritty underdog story about Song Yoon-han, a kid whose parents died in a monster invasion. Despite grinding to become a hunter, his abilities flatlined until he's invited to the mythical Tower of Trials, an otherworldly gauntlet of mind, bending challenges against monsters and humans. Imagine the insane fortitude this traumatized kid must tap into, getting overwhelmed by PTSD one moment, pushed to the brink against overpowered foes the next. It's a raw, emotionally charged tale of an underdog tempering himself through grit and perseverance amid nightmarish odds, with revelations about the tower's true stakes looming. If you want visceral power fantasies dished with darkness and pathos, binge Song Yoon's harrowing, grimly determined journey. The World After the Fall is a breathtaking epic dark fantasy set in a devastated world overrun by mysterious towers unleashing monsters. Jaewon is an elite tower walker with powers to fight back. But when facing death, walkers can rewind time using regression stones, except the stubborn Jaewon refuses, determined to save the doomed original timeline against all odds. Imagine his unbreakable willpower battling through an unrelenting gauntlet, facing unholy abominations one moment, unraveling the tower's mysteries the next. It's an exquisitely crafted tale of grim perseverance fused with jaw-dropping world building and twists. The ambition of blending time loops into an apocalyptic dungeon crawler is genius. Whether you crave gorgeous action or deep philosophical stakes, binge Jaewon's principled, must-read journey. Return to Player is an ingeniously meta-apocalyptic power trip. Gods trap the planet in a death game where humans must slay monsters or be slaughtered. After everyone dies, protagonist Si-han Kim gets to relive the hellish scenario from the start, but remembers the entire disastrous first playthrough. So, this mad lad is essentially a hindsight-powered demigod who knows all the cheat codes and exploits. Imagine his crazy dominance, speedrunning full missions one moment, breaking the fourth wall to roast the sadistic gods, controlling everything the next. It's a hilarious, razor-sharp satire reveling in the convolution of isekai power fantasies, with an omniscient badass smugly cheesing his way through world-ending stakes. Craving deliriously high battles or endearing meta humor, this fresh must-read brings gaming nirvana. Omniscient Reader is a mind-bending meta masterpiece where an ordinary guy named Docta becomes the omniscient protagonist of his favorite apocalyptic web novel turned reality. Not a perfect hero, but a self-aware audience stand-in wrestling with the ethics of his cosmic authorship over this new world. It cleverly explores storytelling conventions wrapped in a high-concept fantasy as Docta effortlessly reshapes reality one moment and has existential revelations about his omniscient role the next. An audacious, unmatched look at an all-powerful audience surrogate directly confronting wish fulfillment. A must-read for those craving brilliant, genre-bending narratives. And there you have it, folks, 10 manhwa better than Solo Leveling. If this was your kind of thrill ride, show some love by smashing that like button. And be sure to subscribe for more lit manga and manhwa content coming your way.